Robbie Williams Rewind.
Welcome to Robbie Williams Rewind. We are the champions. I'm Matt.
And I'm Lucy.
And along with help from special guest fans, we take you on an in-depth rewind through the solo career of multi-award winning singer, songwriter and entertainer Robert Peter Williams.
Today we're talking about the B-sides that appeared on the singles from I've Been Expecting You and his American and European tours of 99, The Man, the Myth, the Tax Bill, For a Few Dollars More, and Get Your Coat Baby, You've Pulled. And today we've got our lovely friend Sarah Hoyland with us again.
Again. Hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
So before we get into the songs, I was wondering if you'd tell us a little bit more about your meet and greet with Robbie that you had in 2014. Was it? I think it was 14.
Yeah, 2014. It was the 17th of June, 2014. I've still got my winner's email. I had a look at it this morning, actually. I read it and I'm like, oh, I'd love to get one of them again.
So how did the competition work? Tell us what you had to do.
It was just on his upfront website. You just had to basically choose a choice of what venue you'd like to do a meet and greet if you could. And it was just randomly picked out. And then me and another girl called Emma, who turns out she don't live too far from me, and she used to work at the same place I used to work at. But she started and finished before I started.
Right.
So it's like, that's a really small world, isn't it?
Yeah.
And remind us again where you went for your meet and greet.
Leeds Arena. Yeah. I went to a gig the night before and then I met him night after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good. As soon as he walked through that door in that dressing gown, I nearly died. I just looked and I thought, oh, is this real? But he's so tall, really taller than I thought. I'm quite tall, but he was a bit taller than me. Yeah. When he looked at me, his eyes were just like top of my head. And I'm like, oh, and he gave me a cuddle and he kissed me on the head. And I'll never forget it. He kissed me on the head and on each cheek and gave me a big cuddle and said, hello, darling. And I'm like, please don't let go. Sounds cheesy, but it was just so lovely.
Oh,
so nice. Something you've just thought about since 20 years since Take That days.
Yeah,
just not something you'd ever expect would ever happen.
No. Did he know you at that point from chat, or did you introduce yourself?
Yeah, he knew me. I'd been in his chat room quite a lot. I've been on his previous blog as well, on his old Robbie Williams site a couple of times. Although I wasn't very active on there, I just read a lot.
Yeah.
I want used to all interaction, so I just watched and read what were going on. But when he got his new upfront site, which had a chat room, I spoke to him quite a lot. Quite lucky. Always had loads of banter with him. He always just came on and said something to me, and I could be quite cheeky and say something back, just for a laugh. And whatever I said, I always got away with. That's just what funniest thing. Because again, it's something you never expect to happen, ever to be sat just talking over a computer to a pop star who you've just loved since you were 10. It's just something it's just don't happen, does it? You never hear of it with any other pop stars and singers and all that, do you? So I've even spoke to him for a full 1 hour and a half one time.
Really?
Kev got up to go to work. It was about 6 a.m. on the morning, and I woke up for some reason. I don't know what it was, but I just thought, check the chat, check your phone. It was about 6 a.m. I just had this instinct, and I got my phone and I had a look, and it just logged on, and I just said, "Cooey!"
Yeah.
And it just went from there. There were like an hour and a half's worth of chat. By the time we'd finished, Kev had already got up and left and gone to work. So he got to work and he'd said to his mate, so I've left our lass in bed talking to Robbie Williams. And everyone's like, what?
Because, of course, when Robbie
was so good.
When Robbie was in LA, I'm assuming you might have been in LA, because of the time difference, we'd be getting up in the morning and he'd still be awake from the night before. Yeah?
Yeah. But again, it's just something he just never dreams ever going to happen. Never. But I've just been so lucky with it all.
Does it ever stop feeling surreal? Does it ever feel normal now?
It got to, it did. It was just like, oh, I'm just talking to my mate again. But yeah, it's all exciting. It's still exciting, but it's been quite quiet recently, haven't we? We haven't really had much he hadn't been on his chat room for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping he's going to pick that up again soon at some point. I know he's busy with family and all
Family
that
time,
and all stuff currently going on in the world, and we'll have to just wait and see what he's got in store for us.
Yeah.
But it was such a lovely meet and greet. It was about 20 minutes long, and I remember his security man kept coming in and saying, "Come on, Rob, football's on," because there was some sort of football tournament on and they all had bets on against each other, and one of the matches were about to kick off.
Right.
And the security came in and said, "Come on, game's about to start. Come on, lads." And Robbie's like, "No, I'm all right. I'll catch up just a few more minutes." And I just thought,
Aw.
"Oh, that's so nice. He don't actually want to go." But it was just nice that he wanted to keep talking.
Is it just the four of you and him in the room then?
I think there were 6 of us initially.
Right.
There were us 4 winners, and then there were Rob and a security man. But we were in this like little holding room. Imagine like a big corridor in an arena. You've got big corridors. Yeah. It was just like a little room, but with doors on either side that made it like square. But Rob were really hot. He had flu, so he wasn't feeling that great, and he was really hot. So he says, "Come on, we'll go through these doors." So we went through these doors, and through those doors there were a couple more security men dotted about. There were his dad, there were Carey and Gary, his 2 security. And then all these doors kept opening, and there were dancers and people in show. They were just coming in and out of all these doors. There were hair in rollers, hardly any clothes on, all getting the makeup done. And I'm just looking with my gob up and thinking, is this really happening? Really, really strange. Lots of people just dashing about everywhere while Robbie were trying to talk to us. And I'm just like, what's going on here? Oh, there were David, his manager as well.
Yeah.
David Enthoven, he were there as well. He was one that took the photograph. He was cameraman, that was his job.
So what did you talk about in those 20 minutes? Can you remember?
Talked about quite a lot of different things, really. We talked about his old blog on his Robbie Williams website, and what my user ID were on there, because he wasn't quite familiar with whether I were on there talking to him or whether it what chat he knew me from. So he was just trying to figure out exactly. And we just talked about where I lived, what I did for work, and where I live from Pontefract, where they've got the big Haribo sweet factory. And he said, "Oh, I like those." I says, "Right, I'll bring you some of them then." He asked if I were going to see him at any other gigs. Told him I were going to Manchester the week after, and the final gig in London at the O2. But when I told him I was going to Manchester, he says, "I'll look out for you." I says, "I'll bring you some sweets then." He says, "I'll definitely look out for you then." I told him that every time I'd told anyone I'd spoken about him, I was always having the piss taken out of me, saying, "Oh no, it's just some old, bald, fat pervert. It's not really Robbie Williams." And he just laughed and says, "Well, I am old." He says, "I am fat." He says, "And I am a pervert." And he just started laughing, and I just thought, I just like laughed along. It was just really weird, really surreal again. He talked about his wife, Ida, and little Teddy. She wasn't very old then. I think she'll have been about 18 months, 2 years maybe, something like that. So he was quite new to being a father. Just telling us about all that. But then just before we did go, I had like a little Sharpie pen tucked inside in my leggings. And I just says, "Before you go, can you sign my ankle? I want a tattoo, please." And he looked, "A real tattoo?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Okay then." He says, "I best make it good." And he got down on his hands and knees and he had my leg held up in it. It was just such a really surreal moment, something that you'd never expect. Robbie on all fours in front of you while your legs are akimbo while he's trying to write on you. He went, "This isn't working." He says, "Let me just get a chair." And he went and got a chair and brought that over. And then he put my leg on chair and then he wrote it. Aww. It was just his full name as well.
Robbie.
The full Robbie, not just Rob, what he'd done on a lot of signatures. Yeah. But yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
So mine's quite unique.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. And then about 3 months after, I got it copied smaller and got it on my wrist.
Oh, so you've got 2.
Yeah, just so I can see that one every day. People think I'm a right sado, but it means a lot to me. So
yeah.
What does your husband think of that? the tattoos.
He's not bothered. He knows how much. He knows that Robbie were in my life before him.
Yeah.
He knows he's my number one. Yeah. He puts up with a lot.
Yeah.
I go off all over after him, and he stays at home with kids. He don't mind.
Yeah. Oh, good
But
husband.
it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
He knows that I'm interested in going to see him, so
Yeah.
he agrees and lets me do it. It's not a problem.
No. Well, that's how it should be.
I know. A lot of his mates are like, well, aren't you getting jealous? Aren't you bothered? He's like, no, it's just a person you see on telly. It's not a bloke down the street, is it?
Yeah,
It's a bit different,
exactly.
isn't it?
It's not like you're actually going to have an affair with him.
No.
Oh.
I took him a box of Haribos the week after when I went to Manchester. And true to his word, he looked for me and he sent Carey over to get these sweets from me. And when he passed them up to him, he said, I don't like that gelatine shit. They're shit. And he just like threw the box back down at me. And I'm just thinking, you tease. And then he came right close to where barrier bit one. He was stood up on walkway. And he went, anyway, you know how it goes. He went, kiss for chocolate, a kiss and exchange for chocolate. You'll get a kiss chocolate, kiss chocolate. He says, anyway, you've had a kiss from me. You had the meet and greet with me in Leeds and you had a picture with me holding my ass. He says, I enjoyed that. And then he bent down and started wiggling his bum around and I couldn't reach. I was trying. And I just thought, oh, it's so funny. So people at that gig must have been looking at the big screen and just seeing my face thinking, what on earth's going on down there? Oh, it was
Brilliant.
so funny. But people always say never to meet your idol because they're never going to be what you expect. They've never met Robbie Williams, have they? Because he's just so lovely and genuine.
Yeah.
So lovely. And I'm just so lucky and really proud to be a fan. He has a lot of time for his fans, which is really amazing because you don't often get that with folk. Some people just can't, they haven't got time and can't be bothered. He likes fluffing up now and then though, doesn't he? So we're all here to fluff his feathers when he needs it.
Yes. Yes. The ego is landed, as they say.
Yep. But we're all just so lucky. We've got the best pop star, haven't we?
Absolutely.
And bless him. Really, really proud to be a fan.
Well, he's certainly always been very nice to us.
Absolutely has, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story with us, Sarah. That's a lovely memory to have, and one day we'll look at your typewritten document of the exact conversation. We do that as well, by the way, because you do forget.
I might share it one day. Charge you a tenner though.
So we're going to talk about some of the B-sides.
Although technically the first one isn't exactly a B-side.
We've kind of pulled in tracks from around the time, haven't we, Lucy?
Yeah.
So first one's not technically a B-side. We're going to talk about It's Only Us. It was written by Robbie and Guy, and it was released as a double A-side to She's the One on the 8th of November 1999. So technically hit number one.
But it's also now on the album, isn't it, instead of Jesus in a
Yes,
camper van.
It is. A brand new recording was made for FIFA 2000 soundtrack a year after I've Been Expecting You came out. Robbie only agreed to do it if Port Vale were included within the FIFA game, which I believe they were, obviously, one of the conditions. And as we covered in the last episode, it replaced Jesus in a Camper Van on I've Been Expecting You from its 2002 reissue due to copyright issues with Jesus.
Well, with the song, not with like Jesus himself.
with the song, yeah, that's what I meant, really. FIFA 2000, the album, was released in 1999, and It's Only Us is the only official single from it. The video was directed by Simon Hilton, who also did Strong, and the video was included on CD 2 as it was an enhanced CD. Does everyone know what an enhanced CD is? Probably not anymore.
No, it's like a sort of
We did have
CD-ROM type thing you could put in your computer and watch the video.
Special bonus features and video, yeah.
No, they don't bother with that anymore.
No.
So, what do we think of this song?
I really like it.
Yeah.
It's really loud and
Yeah.
you jump around, and I
Pumping.
like it.
Yeah, I do as well.
There's something really feel good about it. I don't know, just from the very beginning, it just makes you feel happy immediately.
Sort of rocking straight away. isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The tempo and the pace, it just sort of gives me energy immediately. And the other thing I think about it is I'm not much of a football fan, but I immediately think about the FIFA football game every time I hear it because I know it's associated with that, and it was obviously plugged with the game a lot at the time. So, and I was just sort of, I know Robbie loves FIFA, so I kind of just envisioned him sitting there playing FIFA.
I remember you and having a conversation on up front once with Robbie when he was waiting. He told you he was waiting for FIFA to load.
It was a few years ago. He was waiting for FIFA to load, and he was bored. And there was about 4 of us in the chat room, I think.
Yeah.
And we started chatting about various things, and then then the next minute he says, "You've got a really thin face," and I'm jealous of your thin face. Have you got such a thin face? I was like, what a weird thing to say. Nobody's ever said that to me before, but there we go. And then
Well, at least he won't calling you a fat.
No, exactly. So yeah, then I started talking about running and, you know, how I keep fit and stuff. And we had a bit of a conversation about staying healthy and got a bit serious.
Very
It got a bit serious.
Yeah,
But
I just
it was
remember that
fun.
you said it was while he was waiting for FIFA to
Yeah,
load.
it was while I was waiting for FIFA to load. That's right. Probably not FIFA 2000 though. I think it was a
No.
little bit later than that.
Yeah. I just really like the song as well. It's kind of manic. It's got like great drums
Yeah.
through it.
That's the word I was thinking of.
Manic.
Manic. He's got a
Yeah.
really manic look on
In the
his
video.
face, and his eyes are really like they're going to pop out of his
Yeah.
head.
Oh yeah, the video is amazing.
Yeah,
isn't
video.
It? Yeah.
It's he's got quite an intense face, hasn't
Yeah.
he? Really.
It kind of reminds me of Doc from Back to the Future. I don't know why. It's like manic inventor.
It's that nutty
type.
professor type. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy scientist
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
Because he's in that room looking around at all the screens, isn't he? And
Yeah.
everything's happening, and he's sort of pressing buttons and.
He's like a computer game inventor or something. Yeah. And it's got all the little computer Robbies, like a Let Me Entertain You one and football ones. And then,
Yes.
was there another one?
Oh, what I do like about
Yeah, a suited one as well.
Yes.
One in a suit, Robbie in a suit.
different Robbies.
Yeah.
I was going to say what I do like is the fact that the video includes Pong, which is one of the very early first computer games that came out. I think it's the one where there's just a line and a ball going backwards and forwards, like that tennis game.
Yeah. Well, it has a clip of that in it.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a computer nerd, so, you know, it appealed to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like hard to keep track of the video. There's so much happening in it. You can't keep up with what's happening.
Do you think he likes the song? Has he said anything about it? I can't remember.
No, I don't know. Do you? Have you ever heard him talk about it?
No, but I think he must do if it's football
Yeah.
related.
Was
Must
was
do.
it commissioned specifically for the FIFA game, or was it picked up by the producers of the FIFA game?
I don't know.
Hmm.
No, I don't know. As
There was other song, wasn't there, that had that to do with football? Was it from the Advertising Space album? Oh, what song is it now? Where
from
it,
intensive care, you mean?
There's a vid. Is it from Intensive Care album? Sorry. And let me ask Google. I'm sure there is one where he's running.
What, in the video?
Yeah, I'm sure there's another football
I
related
can't
one.
remember.
Don't know. We'll wait till Google answers.
So another line that I like is, "We're just after cheaper thrills since the price went up on pills from Stoke-on-Trent to Beverly Hills." That's a way of getting Stoke-on-Trent in the same song as Beverly Hills.
It works, doesn't it?
Yeah. But there's one thing I'm not so keen on is the Rock Me Amadeus bit. I don't know why, but I don't really like that bit.
Rock me Amadeus. Yeah.
A Place to Crash. Is that not got some sort of football?
Oh, it might do, actually.
There's a video. It was on something that was on the telly. It was part of the advertisement for it, or the intro
to it.
I
know what you mean. Oh, I know.
A vague
It was
memory
from Soccer Aid. They used that for Soccer Aid theme in the beginning of when Soccer Aid first started.
Is that what it was? Soccer Aid? Is that
they
when
always
they were
used A
advertising
Place
that?
to Crash. You're right. They did.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. You got a good memory there.
Good factoid there, Sarah.
It might have been wrong at first, but I know there was something.
So shall we move on to Love Cheat?
Yeah.
So Love Cheat was released as a B-side to Millennium on CD1, and it was written by Rob and Guy.
And that's the extent of the facts that we have.
Sometimes,
especially
our
on
research
B-sides.
that's it. What do you think?
I like this one. It's like typical Robbie of that era. As he's described himself, he was a fuckboy.
Yes.
And that's essentially what this song's about, isn't it?
It does appear to be, yes.
Yeah. I like it.
I'll send my boys an order through Interflora, tell you lies like I love you and I adore you. And then I especially like, I hardly know you, but I like your figure. Suppose I'll read about you in the mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all those girls selling their stories. It does make me wonder how many hearts he has broken. Must be in the hundreds, would
a lot.
You say?
Yeah. I'd say a lot.
Say a lot. In the early days, definitely. I think I really like it's got a really, really indie sort of rock start to it, hasn't it, with the electric guitars.
Yeah.
And Robbie's voice, I was saying to Lucy, Robbie's voice is quite different in this.
Is it a little bit Oasis?
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
What we thought. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a bit, you can imagine him with that little nasally twang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a part of that song that instantly reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't often change his voice, if you think about it. I mean, obviously his voice has changed, but I mean, he doesn't often try to change his voice, but I think in this one he is trying to. Do you know what I mean?
Purposely did, yeah.
Yeah. He's experimenting with it a bit Liam-esque.
I think also because he's sort of almost acting like a villain in this song because he's a love cheat and it's he's being a bit naughty and maybe he thinks that kind of voice suits that.
So there's a bit of acting going on there as well.
Yeah.
Playing the part.
Yeah.
I'll watch out for anybody with that kind of voice.
Yeah. Well, I certainly wouldn't trust Liam myself.
Just Lucy's opinion.
Yeah.
He's obviously a very trustworthy man, I'm sure.
I've just seen it news today. He's fallen out of an helicopter and smashed all his nose in.
Yes.
Well, going to a gig? Has he fallen out? Going to a gig?
Or getting out.
And after a few cans, he's fallen and done his face in.
What was amusing was the stories were saying Liam from Oasis has fallen from a helicopter, but he actually only fell off the step of the helicopter.
Oh, right.
But, that's all the clickbait feeds and everything were all trying to get people to think that he jumped out of the helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'd hurt more than his face.
Oh, he's just fallen down step. No, it's not so bad.
No.
Is it?
Somehow fell on his face. I saw a picture. He completely fell onto his face. But there we go. Get well soon, Liam.
So the next song is Rome, Munich, Rome.
Yeah.
Again, written by Rob and Guy, and it appeared on CD1 of Millennium. And that is all we have, fact-wise. Again.
So, Sarah, we're relying on you for some really interesting facts about this song. I'm joking.
I have got a misheard lyric in this one, though.
Go on, then.
So when he says, apparently, there's still a shitload of seeds to be sown, I always thought it was seats to be sold.
That really is a misheard lyric.
Yeah.
I've always
different.
sung that too.
Oh, it's not just me then. I think me and you were quite joined on the misheard lyrics.
Are you sure that there isn't a line where there's seats to be sold? Because I thought I remembered
No,
it.
because when you look it up, it does say seeds to be sown. And actually, when you read the lyrics, it makes more sense that it's seeds to be sown. And when you really listen to it, actually that is what it sounds like. It's just...
Maybe I thought it was Seats to Be Sold as well then. It doesn't say it twice, and it gets said once, does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
Just at the beginning.
I'm pretty sure it was Seats to Be Sold. That's what I've always
same.
sung. Because it does fit the song. If he's going flying all over on tour, he's not gonna sell out every single gig, and there's maybe you were doubting yourself. I don't know. I might have just overthought that wrong then.
Actually, thinking about the way he sings it, it does sound exactly the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's a very clever play on words. I don't know, or maybe it's just...
But it is kind of about, he says, all the women and money I've blown, and then, seeds to be sown. It's kind of going down the women route as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much to say about this one. I was just thinking, I'm guessing it's about sort of just life on the road and bouncing around different cities on tour.
With different women.
And meeting all the women along the way. Sowing his seeds.
A different woman in every city, that's how I take it.
Yeah, I think there is that part to it as well.
So many people, so alone, though. That's quite sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
He may have all those women, but he's not actually happy at that time.
Yeah, you can't exactly hang out in the hotel bar or downstairs where everyone's trying to grab you.
No. So I think it's got really good melodies and there's good sound to it, and I like Robbie's vocals in it. I think he sounds great. Especially at the end where he's saying, give me something, give me something, give me something.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is Lazy Days original version, which appeared on CD2 of Millennium, and it's got a different chorus to the one that appears on Life Through a Lens. Guess being young is such a crime, you'll have a million every time. It's just me and you. Your yesterdays are far away. Don't want to go home, want to stay. Nothing left to lose, my friends, my friend. And so they sort of changed the arrangement of the song. The verse is shorter, and they sort of added an extra chorus and mixed the verses about. So the second verse is the second part of the first verse in the album version, whereas on this version, there's two separate verses with a chorus in between. But I actually really like this version because, I'm not really sure why they changed it. I thought this one was really good as well.
I like it. I like the original. It's a good song.
Yeah, it is.
It
is a tune.
Yeah.
Unlock the door and have a jolly good time.
You like how he says time.
Time. Yeah, like that. Repeat. Yeah.
The Hey Judy type bits.
Open up the gate and dream. There's some really good lyrics in that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like this version. It's obviously they had a reason for changing it. Yeah. Is it the same length as the
I can't remember. I think
released version?
It might be slightly different. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure why they changed it, but I'm glad that they put this one out. It's just another version of a great song.
So the next song is Angels Live, and this was a B-side to Millennium on CD2. This is, for those of you that probably remember this one, it's where Robbie starts singing these kind of football anthem, It's Coming Home, It's Coming Home.
He says, I'm going home.
I'm going home, that's right.
Because it's the end of the concert, so he's going home.
Robbie's going home. And then they all start singing it and basically just keep singing it, don't they?
Yeah.
And in the end, he just has to say, Angels! And then he says, it's a really good song. And then he starts.
I think that I was probably in that crowd because I imagine it's the Forum concert. So I probably joined in with that singing.
Oh.
Lucy joined in with singing a
But
football
I'm not
anthem.
into football, so I may have not joined in out of protest.
No, it had Robbie. You substituted it into
I would have
Robbie.
joined in, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, do you have anything you'd like to say about Angels? Because you obviously weren't with us on episode 1.
Although I'm bored of hearing it, back in the day, it was good. It did what it needed to. But then it's just because it's one of them that's just, you hear it every gig over and over again. And I get why he has to do it, but it's just not for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'd still watch him sing it though. I wouldn't I won't like leave. I won't be one of them that leaves at end where he shouts, "Yo, where you going?"
Yeah. Gonna go and get the last
angels,
tube,
I've
the
had
last
enough.
bus.
Bye. No, I'd never do that.
No.
But yeah.
Especially on the front row.
I think it's particularly poignant at the end because just as the track's beginning to fade, you hear him say, and that's for my mum. I know she's watching.
Oh, yeah, I guess she was watching it at home on the telly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's nice.
But I think he sings it really well on this live version. It is nice to listen to.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
And with that, let's talk about our next song. And our next song is Ant Music. Ant Music was released on the 30th of November 98 as a double A-side to No Regrets. Originally by Adam and the Ants and written by Adam Ant and Marco Peroni. Featured on the UK trailer for Disney Pixar's film A Bug's Life, apparently. Rob also performed it on Tier 5 Friday. And mysteriously, there's no video for this song, even though it was supposedly a double A-side. Adam and the Ants' original peaked at number 2 in the UK in January 81, being held off the top spot by John Lennon's Imagine. Understandable.
Yeah.
It was also number 1 in Australia and number 2 in South Africa. So yeah, Adam and the Ants.
I like this song. I liked the original as well, though, because my brothers were into Adam and the Ants, had their posters on the wall, so I used to listen to it with them. And I think he's done a really good cover.
I've not heard the original.
It's kind of a bit weirder.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like the vocals are sort of not as strong.
This gets a bit weird in places.
Yeah, it does.
I do like it, and he's got a really nice voice in it. But then it just gets really weird in bits, and I'm like, ooh.
like where he says, "Oi, biggin, I'm trying to carry a crumb here."
Yeah. I'm like, oh, who's he talking to there?
I really like it. I think it's one of those sort of foot tapping songs. It gets in my head. I mean, I do remember hearing it like at the time, but then probably Lucy listened to it a lot more than I did. But I have been listening to it quite a lot recently, and it's just, I don't know, it's really growing on me, that song. And I think he sings it really well.
Yeah.
It's got a really catchy hook. And so, yeah, all I can hear is it going around in my head all day long, which I guess is a sign of a good song. And then I like the lyric, so unplug the jukebox and do us all a favour.
Yeah, I like that bit.
I'd be interested to know whether he covered it off his own back or whether the Bugs Life people asked him to cover it. I'm not really clear on that. But it's not even actually on the Bugs Life soundtrack. So they say it's from the Bugs Life film, but it's not actually on the soundtrack.
Was it played on the film, though?
Just on the UK trailer for it.
Ah, right.
Strange.
Did we have this discussion the other day? Was Ant Music, like the original Ant Music, used on Ant-Man, as in Marvel's Ant-Man?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But not Robbie's version?
No.
Okay. I'll edit that bit out.
Why?
I just like to get a Marvel reference in when I can, you know. There's some coming in later episodes.
So yeah, I think that, anyway, Robbie's version is sort of, it's better than the original. That's what I think.
This is one that I will now go to and actually put on. You know, like, I've put Ant Music on, listen to that.
Oh.
Whereas, so, like it.
Right, let's move on to Deceiving is Believing, which was written by Rob and Guy, and is a B-side to No Regrets on CD1. And that's all I've got.
Extensive research.
Well, you know,
Williams
these B-sides
Rewind
are very
team.
hard to find information on. Yeah, I like this one. It's not one of my favourites, but I don't dislike it. I don't love it. What about you?
It's probably not one of my favourites either.
Yeah.
It's not one that I've skipped though.
No,
I keep it on.
Yeah.
It's not a fast forwarder like some others.
Yeah. It's kind of a bit depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit sort of, off. There's something not quite. Yeah, I guess that suits the style of the song, doesn't it?
Yeah. Deceiving.
And I love the lyric. I don't know, it's just simple lyric. I'm too young to be cynical.
Yeah.
Because when you're young, you're supposed to be optimistic and enjoying life, aren't you?
I guess he's having an affair in the song, but he says, I always have an alibi, but tonight I have no conscience. I've learnt to lie to you. You can tell them stories on how I let you down. So it's, not very nice.
Whoever he's singing about is obviously, you don't like him much anymore.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know who it was.
We must
Or it
ask
could
the
have been
question.
several people. Yeah.
There's another one. We'll make a list of all these questions we've got to ask.
Yeah. You're coming down already. This high won't see us through. I was wondering if that's drugs or whether it's the relationship changing. The high.
Yeah.
Maybe they just got together when they were doing drugs, and that was the good part. And then when he realised it were all turning a bit sour, it come down or whatever. Who knows? Yeah. We need to ask him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it?
So let's talk about our next one. This is There She Goes, live. This appears on No Regrets CD 2. Originally released by the Lars and written by Lee Mavers of the Lars, it reached number 13 in 1990 with the Lars. Listed at 22 in NME's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time and was number 13 in Rolling Stone's magazine 40 Greatest One-Hit Wonders. Some people have said it's about heroin use, but Lee Mavers denies that.
But when you look up this song, that's basically what everyone says, that it's about heroin. And I've seen some people commenting, does Robbie even understand what he's singing about?
What?
I know.
Do they not know anything about him?
I know.
I have a feeling he might. Yeah.
He did say in one of his books that he had used heroin.
He had
just
tried
once.
it once.
But he didn't like it. Yeah.
There's a bit of me which would like to think it's not about heroin, because obviously the lyrics could be talking about a relationship or somebody else. But then again, a lot of songs have multiple meanings, and it does say, there she goes again, racing through my brain, pulsing through my vein. No one else can heal my pain. Obviously, the newspapers had a field day about the Lars and their apparent ode to heroin. So, sells the newspapers, doesn't it?
He was never going to admit that it was about that, if it is. But yeah, I
always
really like
thought
it.
it went about a girl.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it
I
is.
used to really like the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Maybe
great
I didn't
song.
know about anything like that back then when I was younger, but
Well, that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
yeah.
It's a lovely song, though, isn't it? It's a lovely guitar sort of sound and good. Yeah, it's just a nice song.
It was a really
it's a nice
great
sing
live.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. He did it at the Forum and when I went, and I do remember jumping around and everyone going crazy for this one because it's just really great live, and he sings it really well. It suits him, I think.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
And also, I guess at that time he didn't have much of his own material to use in his gigs after only having one album, so he had to cover some other stuff.
He picked a good one to do.
Yeah. From the Manchester scene, I guess, which he always liked. So should we move on to the next one? Sexed Up Demo. This was written by Rob and Guy and appeared on No Regrets CD 2. So the first verse, last line is different. It says, I lay your bed, but I'm okay, instead of I can't awaken the dead day after day. I'm not sure if it is that or if it's I laid your better, but I'm okay. When you look it up on the lyric sites, there's all different versions. It's quite hard to understand what he's actually singing.
Can't always trust the lyric sites.
No. The very end finishes on, that's what makes the difference today, instead of carrying on with, I hope you blow away, repeated 4 times. So yeah, it's like the demo is 15 seconds shorter than the album or single version. And the album version, it has piano and it's kind of richer sound with electric guitar, obviously. Whereas this is just acoustic because it's a demo.
Yeah.
And there's more strings, obviously, in the final version. But the main bit I find that's different is on the demo, there's like a gap before he says the screw you bit. Whereas on the final version, it launches straight into screw you.
Oh, right.
From like the verse or the chorus that comes before it.
You said there's a 16-second gap.
Yeah.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Quite
So when I
different.
listen to this version, in my head, I'm already going, screw you, but it doesn't come in at the right moment.
Part of the angry thing again, Sarah, you know. Screw you.
Yeah.
Shouts out,
Shaking
wandering
a
down the
fist
street,
about.
you know. Yeah.
Oh, I have got a Robbie t-shirt with screw you on it that I bought at one of his concerts, yeah.
Just must let that aggression out.
But I love this one. Love it.
I like it.
This
Yeah.
particular version.
Well, I just like sex
Oh, you
stuff
just
in
like the
general.
Yeah, it's a
song
good song
generally,
anyway, isn't it? There's not that much
Yeah.
difference, really. It's just...
No, there isn't. No.
But yeah, I like it.
It's... I can remember vividly, for some reason, being on the tube when this kind of first came out and listening to it on my Walkman.
Tape, a cassette tape.
A cassette tape. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you know how you used to make a mixtape. So I had a mixtape of all my Robbie B-sides, and I'd always listen to that. I'd probably listen to that more than I did the actual albums.
Did you used to carry a biro so you could wind it on if it got caught up?
No, I don't think it did used to get caught up that much. I must have had good ones.
You were lucky.
But I can just remember sitting on the tube on the Metropolitan line on my way to visit my friend Laura, listening to this song and just thinking, how amazing is this song? So when they added it onto Escapology, I thought, yes, you know, it's been given a rightful place on an album. It's amazing. I love it.
It's a great concert gig sing-along as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everybody just gets behind it, starts singing, and it's really uplifting. And, you know, I know it's a song about breaking up and some negative stuff, but yeah, it's quite
another angry one.
It's an uplifting song at the same time, which I think Robbie manages to pull off in quite a few of his songs, actually.
Yeah. It's definitely one of my favourite B-sides before it became an album track. You can't really classify it as a B-side anymore, can you?
I've actually written down the lyric in my notes
Oh, right.
after Screw You.
Oh, okay.
I know you just like saying screw you, but I didn't like your taste anyway. I chose you. That's all gone to waste. It's Saturday and I'll go out and find another you.
Yeah, amazing. Love that.
And I'm sure they did exactly that.
Yeah.
Week in, week out.
Quick, rapid replacement service, yeah.
All those lucky girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just great. Love it.
Cool. So should we talk about Happy Song?
Yeah.
So Happy Song was written by Rob and Guy and it appeared on Strong, and Rob was quoted as saying, "A very stoned song." So that says it all, doesn't it?
I think that was in Feel. He said that when
Right.
he was playing some of his B-sides to Chris Heath. And that was his comment on that one.
So what do we think about Happy Song then?
Do you want to go first, Sarah?
I like it. There's bits of it that make me laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bats playing on his pink flute and stuff like that. I just think, oh,
Yeah.
think what you want about that lyric.
Yeah.
What is a pink flute, Sarah?
and salsa in from Sainsbury's.
Yeah. Let's all make babies and salsa through Sainsbury's is brilliant. Because he mentions Jamaica, We Bring News from Jamaica. I imagine, isn't that where they wrote the second album? So I'm guessing they wrote this when they were over there.
Well, I think they did, but I think there could be a few meanings behind Jamaica, because I was listening to this song just this morning
Yeah.
and I was thinking maybe just possibly there might be a slight drugs reference in that. I don't know. Maybe things coming in from Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly,
Yeah.
but I think, you know,
Could be.
I wouldn't say that is the truth, but
No.
you know, Anyway.
I like that he's managed to get Chitty Bang Bang into the song as well.
Yeah. And I thought the bit at the beginning, I mean, I don't know whether you remember watching a program called Metal Mickey when we were
No, I never
little.
watched that.
Oh.
Did you,
Well,
Sarah?
Metal Mickey.
Yeah. No.
No.
It was a program about a giant robot that lived with a family, and it had kind of this computer synthesized voice. So at the beginning, it sounds as though Metal Mickey is saying "Happy Song." I'm sure some of our listeners remember Metal Mickey in the UK.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, and then he also gets Bagpuss and Big Bird singing a happy song in there as well.
Oh, happy memories of
I'm sure you remember those.
childhood TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I like this one. I feel like it is a happy song, and it does make you feel happy when you sing it.
No, I better not sing the song. Don't want to get into copyright issues.
It's quite a happy tune, but it just makes me laugh with all them random lyrics thrown in there.
Yeah, like only Robbie can do.
Absolutely. We're used to that.
That's why we like him.
So the next song on our list is Let Me Entertain You, which was live from the Brits in 99. This was the B-side to Strong. And we talked about this in episode 1 with Natalie.
Yeah.
But this is the version live from the Brits in 99.
Have any thoughts on Let Me Entertain You that you'd like to share?
I like that as well. That's always a big tune of his.
Yeah, it's great. Isn't it?
It's not one that I'd get bored of hearing, because I do like it.
No. Yeah, it's always great opening the shows with that one. So.
Yeah.
I think I said exactly the same as you in episode 1. I think I chose Let Me Entertain You as my
you did,
favourite. And I said exactly the same, Sarah. You can just hear it and hear it and hear it. And it's one of those, you just for some reason don't get bored of it.
Yeah.
It's a classic. And it's been used, it gets used so much on TV, doesn't it? You know, people use it on
things
TV
like X Factor
shows
and
yeah. You hear it a lot.
It's a classic Robbie song.
Yep.
So the next one is Millennium, live from Slane. The first Slane, I guess.
Yeah, live from Slane Castle, I think.
Slane Castle, yeah. So when he was a support act rather than headlining, I imagine.
So this one was issued as the B-side to She's the One, and It's Only Us on CD1. The CD also included She's the One video in a special enhanced CD. Once again.
But we don't need to talk about Millennium because we already talked about that in episode 3 with Sarah.
Yeah, I think we said enough about Millennium in the last episode.
So let's move on
We've done that one.
Coke and Tears, written by Robbie and Guy. This was also the B-side to She's the One and It's Only Us on CD too. Yeah, so that's it for facts. I'm doing well here. But what do we think of Coke and Tears?
Weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah, it is. It's got some great lyrics in it.
Yeah, it's just weird, especially with that man who was announcing him on stage, and then at the end, oh no, he's forgot his coat. Oh no, he's going again.
Yeah, I always find that bit very strange as well.
Yeah.
I think that's an Elvis Presley sort of takeoff, isn't it? Because
I think so.
He used to be announced. Certainly used to be announced that he left the building because there used to be mayhem if anyone thought he was still there, you know, so they used to have to, you know, get him out really quickly, otherwise there'd be a riot. But yeah, when he said he's forgot his coat, he's back.
But when you look at the lyrics online, some people say that he's saying that he's forgot his Coke, but I believe it's coat.
Well, I wanted to ask.
Could be. You never know. Another.
Yeah,
it could,
another one.
But
it could be.
Why has he wrote a song about Coca-Cola and tears?
Oh,
That's what I want to know. Dad joke. Okay, bad. I know. It's probably not about Coca-Cola.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I do like some of the lyrics. You'll marry someone rich, but bet you won't steal his watch when you're down by near his crotch. That'll explain the itch. You were such a lying bitch.
That's a good set of rhyming lyrics, isn't it?
Yeah. You were such a lousy thief, but you were good in bed. So I'm guessing maybe this is someone that he's slept with that he doesn't particularly like.
What, another one of those?
Yeah. I wonder if someone did actually try and steal his watch.
While they're at his crotch.
Yeah.
Possible.
I do like the backing vocals on it. We know it's going glory, glory, hallelujah. I like that bit.
Oh my God, it goes on and on and on at the end of that line.
Yeah,
it just
does.
repeats and repeats. And it's like, is the song actually ever going to finish?
Who sang those bits?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can't remember. Is it a man or a woman?
I think it's a mixture, isn't it? Like a sort of choir kind of sound.
Yeah, I think it's sort of an ensemble sort of choir sort of sound at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like a typical Robbie song of that era, I'd say. Drugs, women, and a bit crazy.
People trying to steal his watch.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever... Oh, he wears an Apple Watch now, doesn't he? But I can't remember him ever really wearing watches all that much.
I think I've seen like big gold watches on him before back in the day, but didn't he used to lose his jewellery? So then he stopped wearing them, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had rings on and
That's right.
he lost them and so didn't he stop wearing them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he said he kept losing it and leaving it in places and yeah.
I wonder how much he's lost over years.
Yeah. So, should we go on to the next song?
Yeah.
Dance with the Devil. So this was written by Rob and Guy. It's only available on the Angels DVD that was released on the 13th of December 1999. It's an interactive video directed by Simon Hilton in which there were 4 camera angles and you had to use your DVD remote to try and follow Robbie from camera to camera. But that was impossible and I still can't do it now. I think I used to have to use my dad's computer to watch this because we didn't have a DVD player. And yeah, you just couldn't actually find him on it. So you can't get the song on iTunes or anywhere like that, but you can find the video on YouTube if anyone hasn't seen it or heard it out there. It's definitely worth a watch. Robbie is topless for some reason as well. That's an added bonus.
There's a good version on not because he's topless, but there's a good version on YouTube that actually shows all 4 angles
at once.
All at the same time,
Which is like a widescreen.
Widescreen.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to try and flick around.
Yeah.
Looking for him in the shot, which I guess was fun back in the day. You know.
Not really. Not when you want to just watch Robbie and you just keep
losing him.
Yeah.
Where's he gone?
Kept you entertained for a while.
And also it means that you can hardly ever listen to that song because how often do you actually put on a DVD and watch it, you know? So it makes the song disappear into obscurity.
I don't even have a DVD player in my room anymore.
Oh, we do.
I can see them all in background. What have you got?
Yeah.
Is that music or DVDs or books?
Friends and all sorts.
That's books and DVDs. Friends, Harry Potter. You can see there.
You've got your own little library.
Yeah.
Just over there is off camera is CD racks as well.
We've still got a VHS player as well, of course.
Yeah.
Lucy's trying to convert everything over to.
I've converted
DVD.
everything from VHS to DVD now. I've got a drawer full of old footage on DVD.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
our kids will really appreciate it when we pass all this stuff down to them. You know, I can tell that they're really going to be looking forward to this legacy.
It's in my will that it's being handed to 2 of my friends.
Oh, right, yes. Of course, it's not going to kids.
Because I know the kids would look at it and go, ugh, what are we going to do with all this junk? And they just throw it away. Whereas at least if I give it to a friend, they might know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. So Sarah, do you like this
Yeah,
song?
I like it. I like his voice in this.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Yeah.
He sounds good.
it is. Yeah, he does. It's got some interesting lyrics as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
He sold his soul to Bill Gates and he don't feel all right because the money was shite. He granted me 3 wishes, said I just need clean clothes and can you do the dishes?
Very random.
Yeah. He don't get on with Judas. He's been to rehab, couldn't pay his bar tab, and it's all so sad. I'd kind of completely forgotten about this song until I was doing this research, and then I came across it again.
Well, I haven't really got all that much to say about it, but I've been listening to it a lot recently, and I really like it.
Yeah.
There's something quite nice about the way it, I don't know, the guitars, the way it's arranged. It's sort of, I don't know, I can't really explain it. It sort of draws you in. It's kind of a fun song, bit of a story to it. Yeah, I think it should have got more exposure really than just being stuffed on DVD somewhere.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they'd add it to his, I don't know, his catalogue where you can actually get the song.
Yeah.
It does look quite fit though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. That's a good comment.
Topless and all.
It is quite, it is quite annoying, isn't it, watching the video and then it keeps going on to like Guy or whoever else is on the instruments.
No offence, Guy, but get back on Robbie.
Yeah, exactly.
When we were researching it, I only ever looked at the YouTube widescreen one.
Yeah.
So I only learnt, well, from you, I think, that the DVD used to make you try and find him in the scene. So
yeah.
I would find that annoying as well.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
Okay, let's go on to I Started a Joke, which was a collaboration with The Orb.
Yeah. I'll be really interested to hear what Sarah has to say about this. I know she likes a bit of dance and trance and EDM. So Rob teamed up with The Orb for a cover version of the Bee Gees song I Started a Joke. They covered it in a reggae style. The collaboration featured on a Bee Gees tribute album called Gotta Get the Message to You, which came out on the 12th of October 98. Other artists included Space, The Lightning Seeds, Steps, Boyzone and 911. Proceeds from the album went to Live Challenge 99, a charity initiative to raise money for young people's projects in the Northwest. The album didn't even chart in the top 100, unfortunately.
So apparently Rob had expressed an interest in working with The Orb, so Peter Lorraine from Polydor, who was putting the album together, made it happen. The Orb's Alex Patterson said, Robbie's interest in the band stemmed from a meeting at Top of the Pops. We did Top of the Pops with Take That and we were giving it the football chants and drinking brandy at 11 in the morning. He said that when he saw us doing that, he wanted some of it. He was very enjoyable company. Robbie's funny in that as a vocalist, he's one of the few who can get a song nailed down right in the same day.
And the song was released as a single by the Bee Gees in 1968, but not actually in the UK, where it was only available as an album track. The original did make number 1 in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Denmark and Brazil, and number 6 in the US Billboard chart. It was written by Barry, Robin and Maurice Gibb. Apparently, when Robin Gibb died, his son played this song on YouTube on his phone and laid it on his dad's chest and cried.
Which is, it's sad, isn't it? So I wasn't even aware of this song until, I don't know, a year or two ago, when I was looking at a list of all of Robbie's songs ever on Wikipedia and discovered there were some that I didn't have. But I just don't know how it could have come out in 1998 and I didn't even know anything about it. And that album didn't chart and it had all those people on it. It's really strange.
Was it released as The Orb featuring Robbie Williams, maybe?
No,
or was it Robbie Williams and The Orb?
Yeah, I think it was The Orb featuring Robbie Williams.
Yeah, because I saw the cover of, or saw some title artwork for the song, which I guess it wouldn't actually have, but wherever I was looking for it, it looked as though it was The Orb with Robbie Williams rather than Robbie Williams with The Orb. I don't know if that makes any difference.
Yeah.
It is unusual that you missed it, Lise.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah? Did you know this song?
I'm going to be a really shit fan here. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
You sent it when you messaged me the other day and you said these are songs we're going to be covering. Yeah. I started to listen to it, but then when kids shouted me and I never got back to it. So I still don't even, I've never heard it. Or if I have, I've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Well, when I referred to, your like of music at the beginning, actually it is it's not really a dance track or a trance track. It's more, the Orb
It's
back in the day.
reggae, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Orb used to make really like strange, sort of immersive. They used to play and be very experimental with sort of electronic sounds, and it's quite weird. It's sort of an immersive. There is that reggae vibe to it, but it's also a bit electronic as well.
Is it a bit hippie-ish? Kind of.
A little,
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sort of...
When I first listened to it, so Lucy told me about it, I listened to it, and I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. That's very, very different from anything Robbie's done. But I didn't connect it to the original tune, the original song by the Bee Gees. And then when I went and listened to, I knew that, when we were doing the research, I knew that they wrote it. I listened to Robin Gibb singing it, and it was in 1989, I think. And it was to this massive stadium, and the vocals just unbelievable. And I was like, oh, it's that song, because it's totally different with a reggae vibe and all this electronic stuff going on. It sounds quite different, although it is the same lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not one that I play very often now that I've discovered it. Let's just say that.
I think it's possibly one of those songs, if you're under the influence of something, it might sound a little bit different. Not that I'm condoning that. I'm just saying it's a bit strange.
I will listen to it as soon as we've finished. And I'll message you and let you know.
Let us know what you think.
I don't think you can find it on Apple Music.
I think it's on YouTube.
But it's on YouTube, but you can buy it. You can pay 99p for it on iTunes.
Ah.
I don't know about Google.
You've added
Music,
that to our collection, have you, Luce?
Yeah, I bought it, so that I could listen to it.
Okay, so shall we move on to Are You Going to Go My Way?
Yep.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Oh, dear. So this was a duet with Tom Jones for his Reload album, which came out on the 16th of September 1999. The album contained 15 duets with people including Van Morrison, Cerys Matthews, Stereophonics and Portishead. There were mainly cover versions with a new version of one of his own songs and just one new track, which was Sex Bomb. Are You Gonna Go My Way is written and originally performed by Lenny Kravitz in 1993. Lenny's version hit number 4 in the UK and was number 1 for 6 weeks in Australia, and the song was Grammy nominated.
Yeah. So I think it's a great cover, this one. I really like it. I think Tom and Robbie are always great together though, aren't they?
Yeah, Sir Tom Jones.
And they were next door neighbours for a while as well, weren't they? I always find that funny when you read in Reveal, I think, and Chris Heath said, or maybe it was Feel, Chris Heath said, that Tom would just wander over and start chatting to Robbie like neighbours do, except their houses must be and they're
a mile away.
You have to drive out to do it, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their voices work really well together.
Yeah.
They just do. Yeah, they do make a great duet.
But it's a great song anyway, isn't it? The Lenny Kravitz original.
Oh, I love the original. Yeah. Really good song. Yeah. That was probably one of my favourites growing up, that one. Was it early 90s?
Yeah.
When it were released,
Yeah.
93.
93.
Yeah. It's timeless. I think it is one of those timeless tracks. Yeah.
I think Robbie's got his kind of rock voice on for this one as well.
It is a good cover.
Yeah.
There's one point I've written down here. Robbie says to Tom, "Is that you telling it like it is?" And Tom goes, "Yeah, exactly." Because he doesn't say it in an American accent, but, in his kind of voice.
Welsh.
Probably slightly more Welsh. Yeah.
But actually, when you look at the lyrics for this song, they're quite serious. Basically, it's all about saving the planet, stopping fighting, spreading love.
Yeah.
It's quite deep. Even though it comes across as just kind of a jumpy, fun rock
That
song.
bit makes me laugh. We've got to love and rubber dub or rubber dub or whatever. I'm like, what? Very random.
That's not a serious lyric. Yeah,
Was that in the original or did they add that?
that's probably in the original.
Yeah.
What does that even mean, rubber dub? I just imagine a duck.
I know, so do I. I don't know. Just makes me think of a
yellow
bath.
duck, a rubber duck.
Yeah. Yes. So, right, I think we're done talking about the songs. So now we've got a few of Robbie's tours to talk about. But unfortunately, they were basically all in America or Europe, so we didn't go to any of them. So we can.
So no detailed, in-depth personal stories, but lots of facts and a bit of commentary.
First of all, we need to talk about The Ego Has Landed, which was Robbie's tailored US compilation released on the 4th of May, 1999. And this was a selection of tracks taken from Life Through a Lens and I've Been Expecting You. It featured Lazy Days, Millennium, No Regrets, Strong, Angels, Win Some, Lose Some, Let Me Entertain You, Jesus in a Camper Van, Old Before I Die, Killing Me, Man Machine, She's the One, Karma Killer, One of God's Better People, and hidden track Hello Sir. It reached number 63 in the US, selling 598,000 copies, which I think is quite respectable for America.
Yeah.
I guess, people saying he didn't have any hits there, that's a hit, isn't it?
Well, it certifies it as gold, doesn't it? So
that's a hit, isn't it?
I would say it's pretty good.
It was also released in New Zealand, where it hit number 1 and sold 135,000 copies, being certified 9 times platinum. And Canada, where it reached number 17 and sold 100,000 copies and was platinum. Australia, where it got to number 20 and sold 70,000 copies, making it platinum. And it was also certified gold in Argentina. And it was number 5 in the end of 1999 chart in New Zealand, and number 2 in the 2000 end of year chart there as well. So Millennium was released as the single in the USA and made number 72 in the Billboard Top 100, and Angels reached number 53.
Entertainment Weekly gave the album an A- and said, "The anthemic splendour of The Ego Has Landed is more shocking than any of his drug references. The album touches on everything from the grandest of sky-high ballads, Angel, Strong, to alternative bubblegum, Millennium, to grotty corporate rock, Win Some, Lose Some. But Williams' feisty personality and the crank to 11 energy of his band hold everything together, and who would have thought that a highlight would be the sublime and sophisticated No Regrets, which has the shimmer and wit of the Pet Shop Boys and their Neil Tennant on harmonies to boot. Williams and company stumble when they attempt overbaked glam, but for the most part, Williams is the drinking man's George Michael, and bless his crude heart, he'll never let you forget it." Wow, what a quote.
So Robbie played 12 shows from the 1st of May to the 9th of June 1999 in the US and Canada to promote The Ego Has Landed. He played 3 small venues in Canada, Toronto, Montreal and Vancouver, and 9 in the USA, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, Atlanta, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco and LA. He was suddenly being thrust back in time, playing a small club tour to crowds of only 1,000. And the set list was Let Me Entertain You, Eminem cover My Name Is, Man Machine, Lazy Days, Win Some, Lose Some, Killing Me, No Regrets, Strong, Angels, Forever Texas, Karma Killer, Old Before I Die, Millennium, Blur's Song 2, and The Clash's Should I Stay or Should I Go?
That's a good set list, is that? I want one of them.
Yeah. I was thinking that as I was reading it.
It's just,
especially Forever Texas in there as well. That's
that's quite a strong album, is that, to release? It's quite got a good. Well, there's a lot of tunes on there, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, that was the set list that he was playing.
No, but I mean for the album, the actual album to release in America.
The album, yeah. It is. I've got that album.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah,
it's good.
I wonder why he didn't want to release anything else after that. Then, whether it would just cost. Did it not do as well as he wanted, or is that when he decided he couldn't be bothered?
I think that was when he decided he couldn't be bothered. I think "Sing When You're Winning" was released in America, though.
Yeah,
it was after that he Oh, and Escapology. But I think after that he stepped back from
Yeah, because there was a
America.
slightly different version of Escapology, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah. In America that I picked up for you.
So, yeah, The Ego Has Landed was his first album in America.
Yeah.
So essentially he's only released kind of 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
Properly over there.
We'll double check when we get our American fan friends
Next,
on the show.
The next episode.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We'll ask them about what they think.
Yeah.
The New York Times reviewed his concert at the Bowery Ballroom. Alternately modest and flushed with pride, something like Garth Brooks' persona, Mr. Williams has enlisted his fans in his success. "I'm going places," he declared near the end of the set. "Are you coming with me?" His gift, which is as strong as his musical talents, is to make people want to shout yes.
Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
If he's not getting the energy and the response from the crowd, then yeah, it's not happening, is it?
No. So as promotion for the album, Robbie appeared on TV shows across the country, including David Letterman, Conan O'Brien, and Craig Kilborn, to name a few. It was his performance on David Letterman that gave him the exposure he needed throughout North America. And I was actually in America around that time because I had an American ex-boyfriend. And unfortunately, I just missed going to any of those concerts because I just went like a week after he'd finished, which is a shame.
Oh.
But I don't think my ex would have wanted me to go anyway.
Oh dear.
He hated Robbie.
Oh, well,
see
it's good job he's down road, isn't it?
Yeah. And I did buy a copy of The Ego Has Landed while I was there, and it made me wonder how many UK fans actually have copies of that album and how many of those nearly 600,000 sales are actually like global fans that wanted a copy of it while they were on their holiday.
The thing is, back in those days, it was hard to get imports of CDs that were created elsewhere. You know, we didn't have the digital platforms where you could just dial it in and get whatever you want. So it was quite unique, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To have different issued CDs from different countries. Yeah.
I don't remember where I got mine from.
Maybe you did get it as an import.
I just remember getting it, but I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Kev got me. I don't know if he stumbled across it somewhere. I don't know.
It's nice to have anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he did the festival tour, which was 9 European festivals from the 20th of May to the 28th of August, 1999. So he was essentially at that time flying back and forth between the USA and Europe to do some of these dates. He played Rock am Ring and Rock im Park in Germany, Pink Pop in the Netherlands, Imola Festival in Italy, Roskilde, I don't know if I'm saying these right, in Denmark, Werchter, is that how we say it, in Belgium, which me and Matt have been to, and Solidays in France. And our friend Petra, who we're still trying to persuade to come on the podcast.
We will.
One day, she said that she went to the Werchter Festival and that her main memory of it at that time was that the crowd only really knew Angels and they weren't really into his other music. But she was there.
She were there, giving it large for all fans, wasn't she? Singing
Yeah.
along to every song.
Yeah. The only UK date was a warm-up gig at Watford Coliseum before he played Slane Castle on the 28th of August.
Ah. I lived in Watford for a while, but not then.
Yeah.
I'd like to have seen that gig. The Slane Castle gig was televised live on Sky One and on the internet and later released on DVD as part of the Where He Goes Dare DVD. There were 80,000 people in the crowd. The previous year, Robbie had been on the bill, but this time he was headlining, so it was his biggest gig to date at that point. Other acts on the day were David Gray, Placebo, Stereophonics, Gomez and Happy Mondays. He said to Sky One, "I'm really scared that it's now me on top of the bill. It's sacrilege that the Happy Mondays are on before me. I didn't mean to get this big. I was only joking." Yeah, right.
Bless him.
He said he'd lost his confidence 5 weeks before this gig and hadn't got out of bed for 3 days the week before because he was so nervous about it. He tells the crowd during the concert, "Ladies and gentlemen, For the last week, I've been shitting myself about this gig, but I knew that Ireland wouldn't let me down, so here I am.
Aw. And he does do it.
Bless him.
It's a good show, isn't it? I've obviously watched it on telly.
Yeah. Epic concert.
Sky One captured his final moments before going on stage, and he didn't look happy at being filmed at that point.
No.
They tried to talk to him, and he asked his security to move them on. And you can see that when you watch it. He sung a load of covers at the end of this particular one, including Tom Jones's "It's Not Unusual," Oasis's "Wonderwall," Elvis's "Suspicious Minds," U2's "The One," The Clash's "Should I Stay or Should I Go," Blur's "Song 2." And he got his arse out as someone in the crowd showed him theirs. And then the James Bond theme, which goes into Millennium, was the finale. So he sang all those covers and then Millennium to finish it off. And then he went off stage to the Star Wars theme tune.
Brilliant. Got my Star Wars t-shirt on today.
Oh, yeah.
I like his version of Suspicious Minds. It's a good song.
Yeah.
But he sings that well as well, doesn't he? Good, really good.
Yes. It looked like an amazing concert. Like when you watch it, the whole crowd is jumping and going for it and loving it. It's one that I wish I'd been at.
80,000 people, that's a big crowd.
I mean, that's nearly as big as Nebworth. It's
Yeah.
3/4 the size of Nebworth.
So the Irish Times said something strange is happening in the pop cosmos when a star who is loved equally by 80 and 18-year-olds can tempt 80,000 punters to the grounds of Slane Castle while receiving little of the critical derision such a mainstream appeal normally attracts. But this is Robbie Williams, the man who put the popular back in pop music, and he's got everybody's blessing along the way. His persona is in constant flux. He can be macho or androgynous, a bad boy or the teacher's pet, and it is this diversity that forms an integral part of his appeal. That's very true, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've really hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
The Enemies review stated, "How do you stick a label on the tail of a still climbing comet? How seriously do you take an artist who bounds on with a song like Let Me Entertain You and then gets his arse out and incites the crowd to roar, 'Fuck!' live on TV?" When he shouldn't have done that. Today's gig should have ended up with the lead singers of various indie bands dragged on stage in chains to kiss Robbie's feet. But it didn't. It ended with the frightening spectacle of 82,768, to be precise, people jumping up and down like maniacs and chortling like imbeciles as Robbie and the band blasted through the Clash's "Should I Stay or Should I Go?" Robbie is the anti-Cobain. Fear him, and he rules your world. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Another typical Enemy quote there.
And he still rules our world.
Still, every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still at the top of the charts. Artist with the most number ones in the UK, except for Elvis. So yeah, we watched this concert recently, as I said, and it was just great to watch it. It was perfect of him at that era, getting the crowd going. Still, really young and nervous. You could see that at times, but loving it.
And rude.
Yeah, very rude.
More rude than he is now.
Also, he didn't have his auto cue, and he did get the words wrong quite a lot. Like "win some, lose some." He messed that up quite royally and said,
"Oh, bless him."
Changed the verses around, and never mind. Oh, he also wore the Irish flag during Angels. That was a nice moment. He often says, doesn't he, that he wishes he was, he feels like he's Irish at heart, because obviously his ancestors were Irish.
Yeah.
And I think in Ireland they always do. Amazed that he always has an amazing concert in Ireland, because the crowd are right up for it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to see him in Ireland?
No, but I've heard that they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full of energy out there, gigs over there.
Yeah.
I've heard about them, but I've never actually been to Ireland. It's somewhere I would like to go one day.
You definitely should. Another thing I remember is that one of my uni friends was visiting a friend who lived in Belfast at that time, and they decided, oh, let's go to Dublin for the day on the train, having no idea that Robbie was playing Slane Castle in Dublin. And she said they tried to get the train back to Belfast and it was absolutely rammed full of Robbie fans, and she was really annoyed. So then he did the For a Few Dollars More tour, and this was the European Arena tour that got cancelled in March 1999 following the loss of his court battle with Nigel Martin Smith and a much publicised breakdown. I'd imagine he was toured out after the 29 shows in the UK and some of Europe that ran from December to February and couldn't cope doing another 8 dates in March. According to his book Somebody Someday, he had just flown back from some promo in USA and was severely hungover, jet-lagged, had a sore throat, and arrived back in Europe the night before the first show in Stockholm. When he turned up to the venue on the Monday and found 2 members of the crew were no longer part of his entourage, he lost it and started screaming and shouting and said, "I'm not going on stage tonight." His PA and band to and froed with him, trying to persuade him to get on stage. He'd agree, then change his mind again. By the time the venue was full, production manager Rob Roberts had to go on stage to tell the audience that Rob wouldn't be appearing.
Ooh.
Can you imagine?
Oh, you'd be gutted, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd be so upset.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing finding out a day or two before because he's ill or something, but then I guess they might not have known whether he was there or not there, but finding out like
when you're in the
venue must have been hard.
He wouldn't have done that though without good reason. No. He obviously had a lot of issues, a lot of problems to sort out.
Exactly.
He wouldn't just let you down like that, would he? So
no.
It doesn't sound as though he was feeling all that well.
No.
You know, hungover, jet lagged, sore throat. Sounded as though he was a bit worn down.
Yeah.
So back at the hotel later, Rob said he wouldn't be doing the whole tour. Rob said, "Put it this way. I turned up in Sweden and there was no way I could get on stage, no way I could perform, no way I could present myself. What I thought I was at the time and what I thought I looked like. I swear I thought I was the Elephant Man for a good couple of years. My job is to get on stage and be judged, and the judgments I was passing against myself at that time were terrible." Manager David said Rob was close to a total breakdown. He was a wounded animal. He was exhausted. This was a guy who was in the midst of his addictions and drinking, living in an illness and in a deep denial. He couldn't possibly admit that it was anything to do with him, but the reason he was exhausted was because he was stuffing things up his nose and drinking too much.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sad, isn't it?
But it's like they say, if you don't love yourself at the time, if he wasn't loving himself, he's not going to believe that anybody else loves him, is he? Even though we all did, but you can't tell someone. They've got to realise themselves, haven't they?
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in the end, the concerts finally ran from the 3rd to the 17th of September 1999 instead of the March, and they featured the same set list as The Man, the Myth, the Tax Bill in the USA. He played 4 dates in Germany, 1 in Denmark, 1 in Sweden, 1 in France, and 1 in Iceland.
So let's move on to Get Your Coat Baby, You've Pulled tour. Having played a string of smaller venues across the US earlier on in the year, Robbie returned for his second leg in the autumn, from the 12th of October to the 1st of November 99. He did 1 Canadian and 10 US shows promoting the Ego Has Landed album. He'd done a string of successful television interviews across the country but came unstuck with the lack of airplay across the US radio stations. In Canada, things were proving more successful. Gigs were full to capacity, and he'd won himself a large and loyal following with a succession of rave reviews. The second leg of his US tour saw him playing larger venues with bigger capacities, but the US wasn't catching on, and Robbie was actually becoming fond of his anonymity there. No one knew who I was, and I was able to let my guard down and be myself. I chatted to people, and they chatted back because they wanted to, not just because of who I am. People seem to be more genuine, and that's something I miss. But the best thing I did was just walk. In all seriousness, it was so refreshing to be able to go out and walk down the street without worrying. Yeah. And the set list was the same as the previous 2 tours for this one.
Yep. And the Daily Mirror reported pop superstar Robbie Williams stunned a US audience when he walked on stage stark naked. The cheeky performer bared all as 3,000 fans took to their seats for a sellout show in Atlanta, Georgia. With the house lights up and the roadies still adjusting the sound system, grinning Robbie emerged with just his hands covering his naughty bits. I wonder what they actually thought of that, because they didn't really know him.
Yeah.
We're used to him being silly and doing stuff like that, but I'm not sure the Southerners
I'd
would have
imagine that
appreciated
there was
that.
quite a shock, because I don't think in America, particularly at that time, that kind of thing was
Acceptable.
allowed. So, yeah. Yeah.
What do you think, Sarah, about that?
Well, can you imagine just going to be your first gig to see a person who you've only just heard of and walking out naked? You'd be like,
Yeah.
what the hell you
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You
No.
wouldn't get it, would
If
you?
you didn't know the backstory and didn't know
Oh.
him, it would be very odd.
Yeah.
It might put you off. You might be thinking, I'm not going to see
Yeah.
him again. What a weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's all the tours covered for that era. It's a
Yeah.
shame that we couldn't find anyone to come on that had been to any of those. Did try, but it's hard to find an American, especially.
There are a few American fans.
You got
Which
me
is great. We
instead.
love you, Sarah.
Yeah, we have got you. But if there is anyone out there listening and you did go to any of those tours, feel free to,
Let us
get on
know.
the socials, let us know, send us some pictures from your wind-on cameras, and yeah, let us know what it was like. So now comes the part of the podcast where we're going to pick our favourite song from those that we've gone through, which we'll then stick on the website, robbiewilliamsrewind.com. So, Lucy, what are you choosing?
Well, it's kind of tricky. I feel like I want to choose Sexed Up because I absolutely love that song.
Yeah.
But is that kind of cheating? Because it's kind of an album track
Why
as
is it
well.
cheating?
Well, I know it's in this episode.
We
but
covered it in the episode.
we have. But
Does that mean you've got two then?
no. But then what happens if I want to choose Sexed Up when we get to Escapology? I'll have already chosen it for this one, won't I?
Ooh.
Well, you'll have to
Yeah.
choose another one.
Make your mind up time.
I think it's got to be between Sexed Up and Sexed Up. I'm sticking with that.
She's going with Sexed Up.
Yeah, there you go. That's my choice. What about you, Matt?
Well, I found this a really tough choice. I'm not going to pick Sexed Up.
Okay.
But,
You're gonna say what I want, aren't you? You're either gonna say Love Cheat or It's Only Us.
possibly. But we're
Do
allowed
you
to have
wanna-
the same. You're all right. Don't worry.
Oh,
I'm not
there
going to
you
say that. Well, you know what? When I was looking at it, we've got quite an eclectic mix to choose from here, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all quite different songs. So I was thinking about it. If I exclude the demos, unlike Lucy has, then it has to be a toss-up between Ant Music, which I know he didn't write, but it really gets stuck in my head, and I love it, and it reminds me of Ant-Man and all that kind of thing. And then also Dance for the Devil,
Oh.
which I didn't have a lot to say about, but it's been growing on me a lot recently. So I really like that one, fun
Yeah.
lyrics. So yeah, if it's a song by Rob, Dance for the Devil,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's Ant Music. So it's probably a joint first for me. I know that's cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating.
I knew Lucy wouldn't allow it. So there we go. But the good news is, Sarah, I didn't steal yours. So what's yours?
Either It's Only Us or Love Cheat. Because I like Love Cheat because of the like Oasis kind of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like It's Only Us.
Yeah. So if you can only pick one, which one are you going to pick?
Let's go, It's Only Us.
Ah, good choice.
It's Only Us.
Yeah, it is a classic.
Yes.
And I like imagining him in the video for that.
Strong favourite choices
Mad
there.
scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's episode 4 over with, I think. Thank you for sticking with us. And thanks especially to Sarah for joining us 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for giving up loads of your weekend to record with us. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I've right enjoyed it.
So, just before we wrap up this episode, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. And also, Lucy and I would really appreciate it if you can leave us a star rating. You can do this on both Apple and Spotify podcasts. We would also love it if you could write us a short review, and you can do this on Apple. Don't forget, you can check out our episode notes for each episode and links to all tracks and videos at robbiewilliamsrewind.com. You can also email us at email@robbiewilliamsrewind.com. Please also follow and chat on our social channels. It's at RewindRobbie on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. And you can also like and follow our Facebook page, Robbie Williams Rewind. And before we return to this episode, you might also consider sending us one of your own Robbie stories for the show. Just record a short audio clip on your phone and email it to us. Please check the website for more details. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robbie Williams, and you're listening to Robbie Williams Rewind with the Champions.
Have you got any other little things you'd like to say before we go? Any other stories or
I
anything
could
else you'd
write
like
a
to
book,
cover?
but I'll be all right for the moment.
Okay.
And of course, we will, if we don't see you before, we will see you at the Stoke gig,
Yeah.
the homecoming gig in June.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excitement.
I'm excited to go just because we've not seen Robbie in such a long time, but it's just going to be all the old songs, isn't it, that I've heard millions of times. But I'm going to go and show my support.
I love you.
I'll enjoy it while I'm there, but you know what I mean?
Of course you will. I know.
Because we haven't been
I think
to a
you might
gig for
surprise
so
us.
long.
Yeah. Well, I've been to see Ollie.
It'll be good to get out.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a big back catalogue now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So you might not hear all the ones that you think you might hear. There might be a few. He might get a bit adventurous. You never know.
I'm wondering if you might stick Burslem Normals on, seeing as he'll be in
Yeah,
Burslem.
local. Yeah, yeah.
You never know.
Sarah's not convinced. I can
Pigs
see
might
it.
fly.
So thank you, Sarah.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a blast recording 2 episodes with you.
Yeah. So if you tune into the next episode, everyone, we'll be talking about Sing When You're Winning and the Sermon on the Mount European tour and UK tour, and our friend American Paul
American Paul.
will be joining us.
That's his chat room name. I mean,
Yeah.
his name isn't actually American Paul, but he doesn't mind being called American Paul, does
Yeah, no.
he? We'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Robbie Williams Rewind.